Hey YouTube, Richard here, just some random guy traveling around his Prius. And today I want to show you guys my sleep setup. I've made no permanent changes to the Prius and I've bought very few things. I'll give you free alternatives to the things that I have bought, and the free alternatives are actually things that I've used at one point. And that's how I should suggest going about this. Use what you already have. Go out there, see what it's like. See what you like, see what you don't like, and then start buying things or making changes to the Prius as you go. Also, I wanted to show you guys a few different ways to get into the Prius, like when you're ready to go to sleep, and then why you would get in the Prius in different ways based on where you're camping. Alright, so let me show you guys what I'm actually sleeping on. This is just a big blanket folded over a few times. This is a blanket that I'll cover up with, and under this is going to be a Big Agnes sleeping pad. So this is a backpacking sleeping pad. It's meant for camping, and if you've seen my first video, you'll notice it's a different one. So the first one that I had was really thin, and unfortunately Caddy got on it, walked all over it, and she popped it. So I bought this one recently. The biggest difference from this one to the other one is this one is wide. So it's 25 inches wide. My other one was 20 inches wide. If you're gonna use a backpacking sleeping pad like this, I think the standard is 20 inches. And now that I've used both, I would highly recommend getting the wide version. It does make a big difference. Now, this is kind of expensive. If you don't have the money to buy one of these, what you can do is, and this is one of the free alternatives, is to just use a blanket. You might need a couple blankets, a couple big blankets, and fold them over multiple times. A friend joined me a couple weeks ago, and that's actually what she did. She brought a few of these. This is actually one of the ones that she brought, and she left it behind with me. She had, I think, 2 of these folded up, and she laid on top of that, and then she used one to cover up, and she slept completely fine. So if you don't have the money for something like this, all you need is your blankets from home, and fold those over a few times and sleep on that, and then a couple blankets to sleep with. This one is just this one is warm enough, I would say, into the 50s. If it's going to be below the 50s, you might need a couple blankets to cover up with, or a sleeping bag. So I actually have a 15-degree sleeping bag, and it keeps me warm in, I would say, into the 30s. I sleep pretty comfortable. If it gets down into the 20s, I might need to use some extra stuff inside the sleeping bag to keep warm. But you can really do this with just a lot of blankets. Let me show you guys what I do for this gap right here, because if you just leave this how it is and you put your mattress right here and try to sleep on it, it will dip in and your head will dip in. I see some people remove the headrests and have, buckets up to here, or they put a wood platform down here and then put a bucket on top of that. A bunch of things to make it flat here. And I'll show you guys what I do without removing this, because I need this for this dog. It catches Caddy's hair, and I need the headrest to keep that there. So what I do, and it's really simple, everyone probably has one, is voila, I put a backpack right there in that gap. Okay, and then Caddy, I'm gonna need you to move off. And then I just put everything on top of the backpack like that, my pillow, and then I'm good to go without making any permanent changes. Alright, so now let's talk about the 3 ways to get into the Prius, and why would you come into the Prius 3 different ways. So the first and most obvious way is going to be through the hatch, right here through the back. So you would just get in, right, and lay down, and when you're ready to go to bed, you would pull the latch down. So that's a really easy, probably the easiest way to get in, but you wouldn't want to do that if you're stealth camping. If you're camping somewhere where you don't want people to know that you're sleeping in your Prius, so like a Walmart parking lot, for example, I would not, when I'm ready to go to bed, I would not come in through this way. So I only use this way if I'm camping, like out an official camp place, and we're all camping. We know we're sleeping in our campers, in our cars, our trucks, or whatnot. Now, if I want to be a little more stealthy, and I actually prefer to come in through the side. So, and just a tip, not sure if you can see, but I have a green tarp down on the floor, and this thing helps a ton because you can like take off your shoes, for example, right here without standing in dirt. But again, you wouldn't put this tarp down if you're like in a Walmart parking lot. But what you do is just, or the way I do it is I'll come in, I'll just put my butt down, head in, feet down, like that. And then I would close the door, and of course this would already be closed. So that's a little more secretive, a little more stealthy, and it's my preferred way of coming into the Prius when I'm ready to go to sleep. And then there's one more really stealthy way, and I'm sure you guessed it, and that's from the front seat. So you would crawl from the front seat over, okay? And it's not the easiest thing to do. And to give you guys just a rough idea, I'm between 5'8" and 5'9" and 145, so I'm a pretty small, I'm on the smaller side. So for me, it's sort of easy to crawl over. If you're bigger, that might not be an option, but it's really, really stealthy. Like if you crawl from the front, nobody knows that you're sleeping in your Prius, and I'll use that if I don't want anybody to know. So if I'm, for example, in a Walmart parking lot and there's a lot of people around, then I will come in through that way, and I'll show you guys a video of how to do that really quick. If you don't want anybody to know that you're sleeping in the Prius, you don't want to get out and get in through the back or the side, then you can use this way, okay? And I'm sorry for what you have to see right now, but I just kind of crawl over head first, pretty much. Turn around, and then bam, ready for bed. And then to get back in the morning, if you still don't want people to know that you're sleeping in a Prius, then you'll just crawl back over. I think the easiest way is to go feet first, lean over, just like that, okay? So that would be, you know, how to get from the front to the back to the front without anybody knowing that you're sleeping in the Prius. All right, I just want to show you guys a couple things that you don't need to get started, but they make life a lot easier when you're sleeping in the Prius. So the first thing I use is this, okay? This is a little tripod, and it extends out, so it's about 3 feet long. And I use this when I'm sleeping in the back. I use this to turn the car on or off, to lock the doors, or to push the brake pedal. Because to turn the car fully on, so let's say it's really cold and you want to turn the heater on, you need to turn the car on, you need to push the brake pedal and then the power button. If you don't have something to push the brake pedal, you're gonna have to get out of the car, sit in the front seat, and push it with your foot. So I use this instead of getting out. I can reach over when I extend this. I can push the brake pedal and then reach over and push the power button without getting out of the car. The other thing is a little sweeper, and this kind of comes in handy when you have one of these. I highly suggest getting this, it's like a 5x7 tarp that I got on Amazon. You don't need it to get started, but it just makes life easier. You can stand on it to change or take your shoes off to get in and out of the car. So I always put it on the driver's side when I'm at like campgrounds or on BLM land. So this and a tarp, and then the last thing is, of course, you're gonna need a headlamp. And I like to keep it right here, especially when I sleep, because it works like a lamp. So if I'm sleeping in here and I need light, I would just, you know, hit the power button, and then I'll have light down here and I can see what I'm doing. That's it for my little video on my sleeping setup. Hopefully you guys realize that you can do this with the things that you have at home. You don't need to build anything out. If you have the time and the skills to do that, and that's something you want to do, go ahead and do it, and maybe I'll do it one day. But if you're just eager to hit the road, you can do this with the things that you have at home. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.